When they talk about anti-trans legislation, they're talking about not allowing a man with a penis to undress in a women's locker room. This is not anti-trans, this is pro-women. Hello my loves, it's Lady MAGA USA. Let me put on my lip gloss. Liberals are always fear-mongering and saying that Republicans in office are pushing anti-LGBTQ legislation. They also like to cross over and say that this legislation is anti-gay. This is a complete and total lie. If you look into any anti-LGBTQ legislation, the legislation is about common sense. The legislation is like Senate Bill 16 here in Utah, which I helped pass, which forbids transgender mutilation and drugging of children. Basically, we shouldn't be giving a 13-year-old girl a double mastectomy. Other anti-LGBTQ legislation is about parental rights. Teachers should not have the right to encourage a child to transition or take puberty blockers. Other liberals are saying that Republicans are anti-drag queen, but if you look at the legislation that they passed closely, you'll see that they're not talking about drag or even drag queens in general. They're talking about acts of lewdness in a public place. They love to mention the Don't Say Gay bill, which doesn't say that anywhere in the bill in Florida. The bill is simply meant to protect the innocence of children and prevent educators from talking about sexuality and adults-only topics with small children. They love to gaslight you and say that legislation is anti-trans. Nobody really cares if an adult wants to be transgender. That's their mental issue. We do care if you try to transition little children. It is not anti-trans to stop mastectomies on 13-year-old girls. All over Europe, they've outlawed these barbaric practices, and I thank God for that. It's pro-protection of children. Every time they talk about LGBTQ rights in 2024, they're primarily talking about transgender everything. Gay men like me have been erased from the LGBTQ queer community, and good riddance. So what they're talking about when they talk about LGBTQ is primarily trans issues. And when they say anti-LGBTQ, what they're talking about is preventing adult men with a penis from undressing in a women's locker room. Anti-trans, they're talking about not allowing biological men to beat up women in boxing and take their scholarships and opportunities. Keeping biological men out of sports is not anti-trans, it's pro-woman. So every single time a leftist tells you that anti-LGBTQ legislation is being passed, it's common sense legislation that prevents predators from hurting women and children or being lewd in public. I support these bills because I'm a common sense gay man who actually has self-respect and dignity. God bless America.